Somewhere in the North Atlantic, at the height of the Cold War, USS Scorpion was running her routine. Then she vanished, without a distress call, without any warning. Just silence where a submarine used to be. When the Navy lost her signal, panic set in fast, because Scorpion was carrying something that, if triggered at the wrong depth, in the wrong conditions, could change the face of the planet. Nuclear weapons. Where did it go? How does a submarine carrying weapons capable of ending civilization just disappear? And what happens to those weapons when no one comes back for them? Scorpion was a skipjack-class nuclear attack submarine, 252 feet long. Fast, capable, nuclear-powered, she could stay submerged for weeks with effectively unlimited range. Her crew had a nickname for her, USS Scrapiron, and they had their reasons. A scheduled overhaul in 1967 had been cut short. Workers found defectively welded pipes, chronic freon leaks, an electrical fire in an escape trunk. She was returned to active service later that year with a depth restriction of just 300 feet, far shallower than she was designed to operate. 3 months later, she was deployed to the Mediterranean because the U.S. Navy needed her there at any cost. What makes this move concerning is that just 5 years earlier, in 1963, the Navy had lost USS Thresher, a nuclear submarine that imploded during a deep dive test, killing all 129 aboard. The disaster forced the Navy to introduce a rigorous safety certification program called SubSafe. Every submarine in the fleet was supposed to be certified before deployment. Scorpion was one of 4 Atlantic Fleet submarines that never received it. Scorpion departed the Mediterranean on May 16, 1968, heading home to Norfolk. On May 21st, her radioman sent a routine position report roughly 50 miles south of the Azores. She was expected home on May 27th at 1 p.m. It was the last transmission anyone ever received from Scorpion. The following night, something happened in the North Atlantic. Nobody on the surface felt it. Nobody heard it, but 10,000 feet below, SOSUS did. SOSUS, the sound surveillance system, was one of the most classified programs in the U.S. military. The Navy had spent years placing hydrophone arrays on the ocean floor across the Atlantic and Pacific. Underwater microphones connected by cable to shore stations, listening to everything in the water continuously. The ocean has a natural acoustic channel, a layer at a specific depth where temperature and pressure combine to trap sound and carry it thousands of miles without dissipating. A submarine explosion on one side of the Atlantic could be heard on the other. SOSUS exploited that channel. At its peak, it employed 4,000 people at 20 shore stations. The Soviets did not know it existed. On the night of May 22nd, SOSUS detected 2 distinct acoustic events in the North Atlantic. Sounds consistent with implosion, structural collapse at depth. The position calculated approximately 400 miles southwest of the Azores. Radioman Mike Hannon, who was on duty at Fleet Communications headquarters that night, later said officers were openly discussing the fact that Scorpion had been sunk. But that's not even the strangest part, because while the public search began after Scorpion failed to arrive, the real search had already started quietly days earlier. And the man they handed it to wasn't even in the military. To find the Scorpion, a civilian mathematician named John Craven was approached. Craven specialized in Bayesian search theory, a probability method using mathematics, where you take every piece of uncertain data you have, assign each one a likelihood, and calculate where they all intersect. He fed in everything: last known position, SOSUS acoustic data, water depth, estimated heading and speed. Every variable reduced the possible area. What was left was a search zone on a chart of the Atlantic, and he was bang on. In October 1968, 5 months after she sank, the research vessel Mizar found USS Scorpion on the ocean floor, 10,000 feet down, broken nearly in half, bow sections separated from the stern. Debris spread across several hundred meters of seabed. The bathyscaphe Trieste II photographed the wreck in detail, but the photographs were classified. The Navy convened a formal court of inquiry. Months of closed hearings, expert testimony, analysis of the wreck photographs. In January 1969, the court released its public conclusion. The cause cannot be ascertained from evidence now available. What was not released until declassification in 1993 was that the court had privately reached a different conclusion, that the most probable cause was an explosion of large consequence, and that a separate classified Navy panel in 1970 had concluded something different again: catastrophic flooding from mechanical failure. Two official investigations, two different conclusions, both classified for over 2 decades, which means the question of what actually happened inside that submarine on the night of May 22nd remains open. There are 3 theories for what sank Scorpion. The first involves the Mark 37 torpedo. Days before Scorpion left the Mediterranean, a Navy weapons engineer sent an urgent alert warning that a battery inside the Mark 37 could explode with enough heat to cause warhead detonation. The recommendation was to pull all similar batteries from service immediately. There is no evidence the warning reached her crew. The working theory? One of those torpedoes armed itself inside its tube, overheated, and detonated from the inside. The second theory is structural failure. No subsafe certification, known welding defects, a depth restriction already in place. The 1970 Navy panel concluded she flooded from the inside and went below crush depth. The third theory is Soviet action. Scorpion had been diverted on her way home to surveil a Soviet naval group. The Navy officially dismisses this and states no Soviet vessel was within 200 miles of her. The wreck of USS Scorpion has been surveyed periodically since 1968. The nuclear reactor and both nuclear-armed torpedoes remain on the ocean floor. The Navy monitors the site for radioactive contamination and maintains that, as of their most recent surveys, none has been detected. In 2025, there are approximately 150 nuclear submarines operating across the world's navies: American, Russian, Chinese, British, French, Indian, most of them underwater right now, many of them tracking each other. The USS Scorpion has been on the ocean floor for 56 years. Her reactor contains radioactive material that will remain dangerous for thousands of years. Her weapons are intact. The Navy's official position has not changed since 1969. The cause cannot be ascertained from evidence now available. Whether that is because they genuinely do not know, or because what they know cannot be said, is a question that has never been answered. USS Scorpion is not alone. There are an estimated 50 nuclear warheads and 9 nuclear reactors sitting on the ocean floor right now from accidents, crashes, and losses spanning 6 decades. Nobody is talking about it. The steel casings corrode. Saltwater is patient. It always wins. When those casings breach, and they will, plutonium and highly enriched uranium enter the water column, absorbed by marine organisms, moving up through the food chain. Plutonium has a half-life of 24,000 years. It does not go away. This is already happening. Around the Soviet submarine K-278 Komsomolets, which sank in the Norwegian Sea in 1989, Norwegian scientists have measured plutonium leaking from its torpedo. The IAEA knows, the navies know, the governments know, and nobody is doing anything about it.